Greetings and salutations. This is Jason Silverain. I'm returning to Rakenzarn Tales. Now this is version 4.2.2a. I know that doesn't match what it says on the title screen, but I've had a quick patch update. Now, full disclosure here, I've screwed up. My virus protection software did a scan the other day, just 2 days ago, and it's picked up a few false positives. Now, in most games, I've managed to replace the files, which I didn't realise it had also picked up the save files of Rakenzarn Tales, so they're all gone. So I'm going to restart, but no worries, I will grind my way through this afternoon. I'll get back to where I was, but I will be popping in every so often just to show one or two new things, or things I just don't remember from when I did the last playthrough, but when we're really going to start rejoining it back where we was, in terms of plot. But we have new side quests, we have some bugs patched out, we've got all kinds of fun things to look forward to, and I will be rejoining you then. Now, I just forgotten how long Rakenzarn Tales' early game was. I'm like 9 hours in. I've only just gotten to the extra scenario, the bonus battle on it, and there has been a few changes in this new version. Now, first of all, some of the cooldowns have been removed. There is no wind up on soul breaks anymore, which I very much appreciate. Also, weapon skills no longer have a cooldown, which again is appreciative because the weapon skills tend to be flip and flop between doing alright amount of damage to doing less damage as normal attacks, and they certainly do less damage than skills. I've always found them a bit useless, except when I really need those elements. Now, what else to go over? Yeah, some of the new text are very nice. It all seems to flow better. I don't know if I'm just misremembering a few sections, but it definitely feels a lot less cringe in parts. And I've also found on the harder difficulty, Mayu is actually a lot easier than the main story, because normal enemies aren't as easy to grind anymore. But even with the extra XP and items, I'm still struggling to get all the things I need, and in fact, I am much lower level than I was before, but then again, I haven't spent nearly as much time grinding. It's a bit of a mix, and it has been interesting. I have had to redo a few of the bosses. Alright, I should actually continue on what I'm going to do. Now for this, with her, I think the reason it's much easier than the main story is because all of your party members for this particular bit are very narrow focused. You have a dedicated healer, you have a dedicated tank, you have a DPS, you have your main character who can do a little bit of everything. So, I'm back into the main quest. Why is Luigi starting at level 1? What happened to his levels? Why hasn't he auto-leveled with everybody else? Oh no! The green machine is going to be lagging behind. Alright, there's a small error in this conversation. The captain says, oh, they sent 2 of their own and they never returned. And then it said, the guard commander sent 2 of their guards and they never returned. Or something similar like that. But it says the same line twice in 2 different manners. I think that's just been part of the dialogue update where the old dialogue hasn't been properly deleted. What's this? I've just done DMG's affinity event and learned the black burning move. However, apparently we don't have the correct form for it, so can't use the skill. How do we gain that? At no point I remember hearing about forms, or maybe it's just been so long I've forgotten about them. Also, it doesn't appear to be listed, so if I lost access to that skill permanently, it would be better if it was actually in my skill list, but I was unable to use it, because at least then I know I've obtained it. This is just leads to player confusion, because there's no reason a player would know about this at any point. This is very early in the game. Nothing about different forms is mentioned, and if I have just permanently lost a move, then that kind of sucks. Alright, I know I've said it in the past, Kite is one of my favourite characters, both in this and out of the game, and it is really disappointing it has so few moves, and they are so pathetically weak. It always feels like Kite just never has enough attack power. And his weapon skills are pretty crap as well, let's be honest. I know he's supposed to be like a jack of all trades, but ugh, he's still pretty unusable, sadly. All of his energy costs are far too high. He does not have enough RP to, like, use them. And that's not even taking into account that most of them are 5-turn cooldowns. He's still a useless character, sadly, and it really disappoints me. Yeah, that's just my little rant here. I'm trying to make use of him. I'm trying to give him good things. But, I mean, I've been checking the wiki, and all he has is moves up to level 10. I don't know if that's been improved since. But, oh, compared to everyone else who's level 10, Kite feels really left behind still. Okay, let's just do that. I mean, he hasn't got the best blades yet. And granted, when he does get some better blades, he becomes quite usable because they have reasonable skills. But I've got, like, Brave Warrior on him. I've got him the Empowered Star. I've even got that to add a few extra stats, but it's just nothing. Also, those particular, like, attacks on normal moves never seem to work. Or they work so infrequently. It says, 20%, but it feels like a lot less. Okay, so I've tried moving away from Hammer as well. I mean, I like these. I mean, Hammer gives me stun, which is really good. And that, attack down and defense down. I really need more mallets. But again, it's a massive costs. I might as well just use Capture. Capture is the best move she has. Because, like, this enemy is useless if they're weak to it. And denying your enemies their goes is just vastly superior to anything else. Alright, let's use that on you right now to get you some RP back. Actually, no, it would be better if I used it on Kite because he has very low SP. Have you guard to get your RP back. Wow, I thought that would kill. Oh. But that's everything in the sewers. Job done. Oh wait, boss. Where are you? Where's the boss? Is it by the entrance? No. Is it near the back? Maybe. I've already looted the back, so... Oh yeah, there we go. I'd forgotten about you. Alright, credit where credit is due. I've been going through all my equipment again and changing a few things here and there. And I'm going to be the first to say I was wrong. Okay, if I do Blue Tornado, Sonic also has a Stun Jewel equipped, and I've actually been finding that the Stun Jewel is kicking in quite a lot when it applies to normal attacks. Now, when I do normal attacks, most of the time, these things don't work, but I always find, particularly with Sonic, for some reason, it works very often. Okay, I want the Voice of Earth here on Daffy. Okay. Sun, there we go. It's because he does that normal attack at the end. And I've also found that one or two other characters, Kite managed to get the poison one to work a few times. Most characters are too slow to really make good use of it. And certainly when I was doing the extra scenario, it wasn't working at all. But that's because most of the bosses in the extra scenario just seem to be immune to all the stat effects, which is exceedingly annoying considering that, like, the whip in that section is supposed to have, like, that thorn marking and all that. Never saw it once through the entire segment. It was really irritating, actually. Okay, we'll just get this sorted. Let's get Dark Burning Attack on that. And we'll do Voice of the Earth again. And I will catch you all in a little bit. Okay, we have the Affinity Quest introduction. This is the one where you've got to pick whether you're going after the cat burglar or the pirate. But the thing is, with this particular one, I always found it was very obvious you want to go after the cat burglar. Because, hey, she's got a reputation of being uncatchable, so you need that element of surprise. And as much as you're going to go for the pirate, as far as I remember, that town doesn't really have a dock. So it's not like she's going to get on a boat and get away. The other thing that really bugs me about the whole blue-green thing is the sheer amount of affinity drop you get, because it's really hard to build affinity in this game. with people, especially if you're just like picking certain choices, because some choices are obviously the right ones in some bits of the game where you get a plus 10 or for a bunch of characters or stuff like that, or alternatively you get nothing. But there's no kind of like gifting system or general you gain a few for talking to them just in the home where it doesn't have a cutscene. So you can really end up with a lot of characters stuck on like minus affinities, and you should not have minus affinities. There's just not enough opportunities to improve it and too many opportunities to lose it, I find. It's something that I like the concept of, but it's not being put in very well. And I think I've already mentioned this in a past video, and my opinion still hasn't changed on that. Now, regarding the affinity issue, again, I know I keep bringing this up, but I did look through my old notes and remembered that you gain affinity every time you have a party member in battle with you. I think they have to be either finishing it or starting it. It's not very clear. It's not explained in the game. There's only a few notes I got off the wiki ages ago. I do know for assist characters, you gain 1 affinity every time you use their skill. This is insanely slow considering you can lose minus 10, and that reminded me why I was grinding for hours last time I was testing this, because I didn't know who had who had content unlocked and who didn't. So I think what you really need to do is have a set one if, like, is this character's affinity at 50? That's the first scene. Is it 100? That's second, so forth. So at least players know what they're aiming for. That's still going to be an absolute nightmare when it comes to Tails and Amy trying to get their skills up. Oh, I'm dreading it already. But there's also the issue that not every character works well with most of the others. I mean, it is part of the game trying to find groups that work together and set them up and stuff. But it does get frustrating when you've like geared up a team and you do have a B team which you can swap in and out just in case of emergencies. But then you're like, I'm missing half the content because I'm using the same characters over and over. But I just don't have either the money or the equipment to make them really efficient. And of the characters I have left over, don't work together well as a sort of combination. So it turns into this spiral of just grind, easy fights. Just so you can see what the next little bit of conversation piece is. And there's a few games I've done that in, and it does get very tiresome. Especially when you lack time. So I can't think of a really good way of solving this. All I say is affinity minuses should be removed except for like really bad conversation pieces. Like when you actively betray a person. Not just disagreeing with them, but actively screw them over, which doesn't come up very often in the game. I would like a mild gifting system, maybe, which you can undo every so often. That might help mitigate it a little bit. Oh, how else to think? Again, a bit of clarification on the affinity which people gain in battles, like do they have to be in your party at the start? Do they have to be at the party at the end? Does swapping into them gain them affinity during the fight? Maybe gaining an extra bonus affinity every time they kill something. I don't know. There's one way you could have this grind up very quickly and be a bit pointless. The other time is like it takes forever. And it really is a struggle from a developer's point of view to get that right, and I don't expect to see it for a couple of patches, honestly. I honestly don't see this being fixed until the story is mostly done and there's a big rehash over a handful of the mechanics that could do with some tweaking. But I'd like to see it changed a little bit somehow. Another minor bug report here. We are on the Blackwood Venture. I have come back up this way. And we're still getting this message, guys. It seems we can hang out with Luigi. I don't remember that being previous content. Maybe I just forgot about it, but let's have a go. Twilight Zone? Luigi watching horror movies? Freaky. They float around. It's spooky. Messing with you. Pretend to be. Okay. Have you not played Luigi's Mansion? Like, all of the games? It was a Boo factory in this world? That's interesting. Yep, there we go. I was wondering if that speech was coming. There we go. This is interesting. I don't know where the music is. I could have sworn I turned it back on. Oh, no, no, I accidentally turned it off earlier. There we go. It's just the basics. Just in case there was a special music on. The indie musician really isn't a job that's kind of a monetized hobby. Ugh. Ugh. I'm sure she has good intentions. It's an interesting way for this to go, since the only thing I can remember there being Mario's parents in. There might have been something in the Super Mario Brothers free TV series back in the 90s, but I can't remember some of the episodes. I think only the more recent film has really addressed the Mario Brothers family. There we go. Luigi gets bonuses. Excellent. We get pretty much half those bonuses. We get Thunderball Luigi. I wish I had that sooner. I'm still finding tons of stuff. Oh, also, even though this is on the most difficult setting, I absolutely destroyed the Angel Island event. That was pretty easy. I mean, I'm like level 17. I'm not even trying to grind. I just think the extra XP is really helping me out, because normally I would not be this high a level. Other things to consider. Oh yes, the Angel Island bug where it crashes when the cutscene starts also is still in the game. I found the best way to avoid it is ensure that you are not touching anything the moment the cutscene is about to play. I think if you're trying to skip it or do any inputs, that's what overtaxes RPG Maker and causes the crash. I've also been able to use the group events inside the guild, which is nice, and it looks like I actually hang with Donald. Again, this is one of those I don't remember particularly well, so I'm just going through it again. What's Daft done this time? Oh dear. Playing pianos? Underground clubs? Oh god, it's essentially a samurai and a Scotsman. Oh dear. Oh, I've not seen that in a long time. I know that reference. Dude fought in World War II, I believe. So don't mess with Donald. I honestly thought Daffy was going to do the reverse like Bugs does, because that would probably work on Donald. I think he did there. Sorry, I blinked. Did I miss the swap? Kind of never went away. That thing that never leaves. I mean, in recent, like, things containing Daffy, he has shown to know he's a narcissist and a toxic friend influence, but he's trying to improve, which is kind of nice take on the character. Oh no! So Daffy's just cursed. Interesting. Oh. Yeah, then what? Where is Huey, Dewey, and Louie? Donald is an accountant. Just trying to think if there's any cartoons when he was doing things like that. Again, it's been so long since I've sort of watched the originals. Yeah, that's got to be a puzzling thing. Nice. Even better. Oh, for once again, this comes up. Okay, I haven't used them very much. They're good, but I just haven't used them. Can I hang with Mario? Oh, I'll save first, then I'll hang with Mario. Okay, what are you going to talk to me about? I can't do Sonic yet. Apparently I've got to go through the main story some more. Yeah, even when you get used to plumbing, it's still going to be a tough job. Okay, what's the difference then? 3 regions. Okay, I have been wondering how certain things cross over into Rakenzarn. So, Super Mario Galaxy's a thing in this world? Do they not go go-karting? Please ask him if they ever go go-karting. Okay, interesting. I thought there might be a decision in that, but no. We get the oh, that's not fair. Power mode, that's another mode we don't have. Anything else? Anything else? Again, I don't know what the amounts I need are to unlock things. I know like 150 tends to get me one. Ooh, Goofy, are you joining my party? Yes, get on board, Goof. I'd rather he'd be an assist than a playable character. I honestly think there's too many playable characters and not enough assist characters. Okay. I'm sure he makes a good tank, but part of me just doesn't want to bother. Just another jerk I have to equip. One thing I want to address during the long battle segment, and it's this particular segment in general, where you have Kite, DMG, and Yuffie. I mean, Yuffie's an optional here. DMG and Yuffie both are mostly dark moves. The guards are resistant to dark, so you only really have Kite who has their weakness. So this feels a little unbalanced compared to all the other fights in this segment. Of course, there's only so many characters you have, so there's not really much you can do here. But it does feel like this could be very difficult if you aren't leveled up appropriately, or if you've just forgotten to equip a character or two, because you don't really have the chance to equip them during this segment.